Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bible Study Live with Connie and friends. And one of my dear friends is waiting in the wings right now. You will see her in a little bit. But we are going to get started. It is December. I can't believe it. And so we're doing a new theme. And this month's theme is friendship. And so I never know what the theme is. God told me at the end of last year, at the beginning of this year, and I put it on my grid, on my little sheet, and then I don't look at it again until the month. So I didn't know until tonight that the theme was friendship. And I've been thinking all day about how thankful I am for my friends, and one in particular who is with us tonight. So I invited her to join us because I wanted to acknowledge our friendship and how thankful I am for so many of my friends. I am if you know me, then you know my friends. And if you know my friends, you know how blessed I am with such wonderful people in my life. I mean, I really am. And so we're going to talk about and do a little study on a friendship in the Bible. But the reason this one, I guess God wanted me to start with it is often some of the friendships that we read about in the Bible, they're somehow related. They're not all related, but many of them, the ones that are most popular, they're related somehow. They're, in-laws or they're brothers and, that kind of thing. These two, this is a whole different level of friendship, which is what made me really think about my friend, and my all of my friends, but specifically the one of the ones who's on here right now, Estella. Um, but I've heard the saying, blood is thicker than water. I've heard the saying, blood is thicker than mud. I never heard that one until I moved to California the last time. I was like, oh, blood is thicker than mud. Interesting. So blood is thicker than water. But the bottom line is that that is not always true. It's just not always true. I mean, you think about Cain and Abel. It wasn't true for them, right? You think about, siblings that have treacherous relationships in our lifetime or history that we're aware of. Children killing their parents, parents killing their children, husbands killing their wives, and yet we say, blood is thicker than water, or blood is thicker than mud, and that is not always the case. There are friendships that are thicker than blood. Um, and I want to honor one right now. I know there's another friend who's planning to be on the call, and I'll mention a few of them that aren't on the call and won't be able to be on the call tonight. But I want to talk a little bit about my friend Estella, because Estella, we've been friends now for probably hmm, close to 20 years, I would think. I think we're going on 20 years now, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And Estella and we've gone through ups and downs. We've seen each other through hard times and good times and loss of love and illness and um, different challenges in our lives. And yet we've weathered it. We've dreamed together, and that's huge. Not everybody has friends they can dream with. Some friends, they're not those friends. They're not dreamers, so they don't know how to support you in having a dream. Estella supports my dreams. I support Estella's dreams. She's got big dreams and big plans. She's a creative. She's a maker. Um, and she's a businesswoman as well. So she's got all of this creative brilliance, and she's also a brilliant businesswoman. We've been single mothers together. That's hard. It's hard, y'all. Single mothers of only children. That can be really difficult because you're so tied to that child, their ups, their downs, their successes, their failures, their challenges. You feel it differently. Um, that's a special relationship that I have with my friend Estella. Estella is that friend who, even recently, I was going through a difficult time, and she just asked me, are you going through a difficult time because, do you have food in the house? Are you how much are you struggling? Do you need money for food? And, if it was a stranger or somebody I'm not as close to, I might say, oh, no, 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 I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'll be fine. She's my real friend. And I could say, it's a hard time right now. And before we could finish talking, there was money in my account because it's not true that blood is thicker than mud and blood is thicker than water. It's just not true. It's just not true. I mean, it can be true. I'm not saying it can't ever be true. Sometimes it can. It
Hmm.
doesn't have to be true. And so it was a tough time. And without me having to ask her, she just offered and helped. And that's a different type of friendship. The kind of friend that you can say, wait, I had a dream. I have an idea. I have an idea. Can I share my idea with you? And there is no fear. There's safety there as you share a dream. You have to feel safe to share your dreams with people.
Yeah.
And there's safety in my friendship with my friend Estella.
Mhm.
And so I wanted her to be here specially tonight as we're starting this theme on friendship because she is such a treasured friend to me. And so all of that to say, as I, try to keep my tears together, I was studying about David and Jonathan. So I'm going to read some scriptures about David and Jonathan, and I want you all to think about them in ways that maybe you haven't thought about it before, because we read it as a story. But imagine if this was your friend. Imagine these circumstances. So first, go to First Samuel for those of you who follow along in the Bible or just listen along. First Samuel 19, I'm going to read verses 1 through 10. And they say, Saul told his son Jonathan and all the attendants to kill David. But Jonathan had taken a great liking to David and warned him, my father Saul is looking for a chance to kill you. Be on your guard tomorrow morning. Go into hiding and stay there. I will go out and stand with my father in the field where you are. I'll speak to him about you and will tell you what I find out. Jonathan spoke well of David to Saul his father and said to him, let not the king do wrong to his servant David. He has not wronged you, and what he has done has benefited you greatly. He took his life in his hands when he killed the Philistine. The Lord won a great victory for all Israel, and you saw it and were glad. Why then would you do wrong to an innocent man like David by killing him for no reason? Saul listened to Jonathan and took this oath. As surely as the Lord lives, David will not be put to death. So Jonathan called David and told him the whole conversation. He brought him to Saul, and David was with Saul as before. Once more, war broke out, and David went out and fought the Philistines. He struck them with such force that they fled before him. But an evil spirit from the Lord, they say, and some scriptures say from the devil, but an evil spirit from the Lord came on Saul as he was sitting in his house with his spear in his hand, while David was playing the lyre. Saul tried to pin him to the wall with his spear, but David eluded him as Saul drove the spear into the wall. That night, David made good his escape. Now, I'm going to stop there because it goes on, and Saul's daughter helps him as well. But let me say this. We read about how Saul was jealous of David and how he David, because it said Saul has slain his thousands and David his tens of thousands. So he got jealous. And then he found out that David at some point was going to succeed him as king. And so he was jealous and trying to kill David. Saul was trying to kill David. And Jonathan is Saul's son. So let's put it in modern day times. We know there's a war going on between Russia and Ukraine. Imagine if Putin's son was warning the head of Ukraine, my father's coming, you got to hide. I'm going to try to convince him not to do this, but I like you and I'm going to talk to him and try to get him not to kill you, but my allegiance is to you because I don't believe you've done anything wrong. Imagine the risk that that son would be taking against his own father. But in this case, it's again opposite of blood is thicker than water. It's opposite of blood is thicker than mud. It's opposite of that. It's my relationship with you is so strong that I'm taking your side in this war. War had broken out. War is going on. And my father is the king. He's the king. And yet I'm taking your side. I'm taking your side. He is my father. I'm taking your side because you are my friend. That's a whole different level of friendship. That's a whole different level of friendship. Go to First Samuel chapter 20. So David's hiding, and so we're going to start at verse 1. It says, Then David fled from Naioth at Ramah and went to Jonathan and asked, What have I done? What is my crime? How have I wronged your father that he is trying to kill me? Never, Jonathan replied. You are not going to die. Look, my father doesn't do anything great or small without letting me know. Why would he hide this from me? It isn't so. Because he wants to believe his father's not a bad man, right? He wants to believe his father wouldn't kill his friend, this person that he believes is innocent, who has only served his father. He wants to believe that. But David took an oath in verse 3 and said, Your father knows very well that I have found favor in your eyes. And he has said to himself, Jonathan must not know this, or he will be grieved. Yet as surely as the Lord lives and as you live, there is only a step between me and death. Jonathan said to David, Whatever you want me to do, I'll do for you. Friends, whatever you want me to do, I'll do for you. So David said, Look, tomorrow is the new moon feast, and I am supposed to dine with the king, but let me go and hide in the field until the evening of the day after tomorrow. If your father misses me at all, tell him David earnestly asked my permission to hurry to Bethlehem, his hometown, because an annual sacrifice is being made there for his whole clan. If he says, Very well, then your servant is safe. But if he loses his temper, you can be sure that he is determined to harm me. As for you, show kindness to your servant, for you have brought him into a covenant with you before the Lord. If I am guilty, then kill me yourself. Why hand me over to your father? Never, Jonathan said. If I had the least inkling that my father was determined to harm you, wouldn't I tell you? David asked, Who will tell me if your father answers you harshly? Come, Jonathan said, let's go out into the field. So they went there together. Then Jonathan said to David, I swear by the Lord, the God of Israel, that I will surely sound out my father by this time the day after tomorrow. If he is favorably disposed toward you, will I not send you word and let you know? But if my father intends to harm you, may the Lord deal with Jonathan, be it ever so severely, if I do not let you know and send you away in peace. May the Lord be with you as he has been with my father. But show me unfailing kindness like the Lord's kindness as long as I live, so that I may not be killed. And do not ever cut off your kindness from my family, not even when the Lord has cut off every one of David's enemies from the face of the earth. So Jonathan made a covenant with the house of David, saying, May the Lord call David's enemies to account. And Jonathan had David reaffirm his oath out of love for him, because he loved him as he loved himself. Then Jonathan said to David, Tomorrow is the new moon feast. You will be missed, because your seat will be empty. The day after tomorrow, toward evening, go to the place where you hid when this trouble began, and wait by the stone Ezel. I'll shoot 3 arrows to the side of it, as though I were shooting at a target. Then I will send a boy and say, Go find the arrows. If I say to him, Look, the arrows are on this side of you, bring them here, then come, because as surely as the Lord lives, you are safe. There is no danger. But if I say to the boy, Look, the arrows are beyond you, then you must go, because the Lord has sent you away. And about the matter you and I discussed, remember, the Lord is witness between you and me forever. So David hid in the field, and when the new moon feast came, the king sat down to eat. He sat in his customary place by the wall, opposite Jonathan, and Abner sat next to Saul, but David's place was empty. Saul said nothing that day, for he thought, something must have happened to David to make him ceremonially unclean. Surely he is unclean. But the next day, the second day of the month, David's place was empty again. Then Saul said to his son Jonathan, why hasn't the son of Jesse come to the meal, either yesterday or today? Jonathan answered, David earnestly asked me for permission to go to Bethlehem. He said, let me go because our family is observing a sacrifice in the town, and my brother has ordered me to be there. If I have found favor in your eyes, let me get away to see my brothers. That is why he has not come to the king's table. Saul's anger flared up at Jonathan, and he said to him, you son of a perverse and rebellious woman. Don't I know that you have sided with the son of Jesse? Won't even call him by name. To your own shame and to the shame of the mother who bore you. As long as the son of Jesse lives on this earth, neither you nor your kingdom will be established. Now send someone to bring him to me, for he must die. Why should he be put to death? What has he done? Jonathan asked his father. But Saul hurled his spear at him to kill him. Then Jonathan knew that his father intended to kill David. Jonathan got up from the table in fierce anger. On that second day of the feast, he did not eat because he was grieved at his father's shameful treatment of David. In the morning, Jonathan went out to the field for his meeting with David. He had a small boy with him, and he said to the boy, run and find the arrows I shoot. As the boy ran, he shot an arrow beyond him. When the boy came to the place where Jonathan's arrow had fallen, Jonathan called out after him, isn't the arrow beyond you? Then he shouted, hurry, go quickly, don't stop. The boy picked up the arrow and returned to his master. The boy knew nothing about all this, only Jonathan and David knew. Then Jonathan gave his weapons to the boy and said, go carry them back to town. After the boy had gone, David got up from the south side of the stone and bowed down before Jonathan 3 times with his face to the ground. Then they kissed each other and wept together, but David wept the most. Jonathan said to David, go in peace, for we have sworn friendship with each other in the name of the Lord, saying, the Lord is witness between you and me, and between your descendants and my descendants forever. Then David left, and Jonathan went back to the town. So, as you continue reading on, you find out that that they ended up in a war, and Saul ended up dying. And on that same day, Jonathan died as well. They both died on the same day, and and David mourned him. He mourned his friend Jonathan, and then later in 2 Samuel 9, he's looking for someone from the house of Saul that was related to Jonathan so he can keep his oath of making sure that someone in Jonathan's family always is taken care of. And his name was Mephibosheth. And so that's in 2 Samuel 9, verses 1 through 13. So you can read about the death of Samuel in 1 Samuel 31, 1 through 6, the death of Samuel and death of Saul, rather. The death of Saul and Jonathan is in 1 Samuel 31, verses 1 through 6. And then in 2 Samuel 1, verses 17 through 27, there's a lament. It's a song that David, because he's a musical guy, there's a song that he sings in mourning for Jonathan because that was his friend. That was his friend because mud was thicker than blood, and he looked out for David even at the risk of his own life and even at the risk of his relationship with his father. And um, and friendship it's a beautiful thing. It's a choice. Friendship is different than relatives. There are relatives that we have that are also friends that we think of as both friends and relatives, cousins and siblings. But friendships, those are choices. We meet these people, we have a connection with them, and we choose to keep them in our lives. We choose to feel safe with them. We choose to share our dreams with them. We choose to be there when they're going through hard times, to support them, to cry with them, to laugh with them, be scared with them, go on adventures with them. Estella and I have gone on adventures together. And um and I also have another friend on the call. Latrice is on, and we're dear friends and sisters as well. I met her through another sister of hers, her actual blood sister, and I were friends. And then I met, her name was Valerie, and then I got to meet Latrice and all of their family. There are eight beautiful children, seven girls and a boy, seven women and a young man, and beautiful inside and out. Their mother, beautiful inside and out. Just a wonderful, wonderful family. And again, mud being thicker than blood in so many ways. Now, they have one of those families, blood is thick over there. They mean that. They have a loving, loving, loving relationship with their family members. But they also have adopted some. I've been adopted into their family as a sister, and I'm honored to be part of their family. Um, I've known Valerie since I was 13. And then when I was 14, I was living in California, and I went home to Michigan and met all of Valerie's family. So I've known Latrice, since I was 14 years old, y'all. That is 46 years, because y'all know I turned the big 6-0 this year. Trying to breathe through that one. But I've known Latrice for a really, really, and her whole family for a really, really long time. And she also is and it's funny, we've always loving, like just always loving. But in 2019, after all those years, just 5 years ago, we got super close. Like we've always been friends. We've been extended family. We've been like distant cousins, right? But we became sisters in 2019 and have been sisters ever since. And as I shared, Estella has been my friend and my sister. As you know, mud being thicker than blood, she's been my friend and my sister for 20 years. And we've gone on adventures. We've gone through things. Latrice is another, mother of an only child. I was talking about that with Estella. There's a special bond about mothers with an only child because of the way we connect to those only children. It's just different. And um and I'm so thankful for those friendships where there are times that we've had to sacrifice some things for the sake of the friendship, to be able to say, no, I got to be true to this friendship. I have to do this thing. I have to ask this question. I have to be there for, this is my choice. I get to be there for my friend. This is my friend. No matter what, this is my friend. And we think of them with love at all times. And so today, as we begin this December month of Bible studies, we get to talk about friendship, and I am just so grateful for mine. So that is today's message. It's about the friendship between David and Jonathan, where mud was thicker than blood. And then it is also time for me to honor two of my sweet friends who are on this call. So I'm going to remove the pin for me and make it so that all of you can see my sisters and my friends who are on this call. So, hello, my sweet Estella. Hello, my sweet Latrice. And if you have any comments or questions or anything to say about the Bible study tonight, did you know those things? Had you thought about them in that context with David and Jonathan, like thinking about like if they were two countries, like a Russia and a Ukraine, thinking about what that this is what that was like, you know? Um, what it's more like is, because David was supposed to succeed Saul, so it's like the son of a president becoming friends with the president-elect when they don't want to give up power. So the president doesn't want to give up power. His son knows it's wrong and becomes friends with the president-elect. That's what it's more like, because David was supposed to take over from Saul.
Hmm.
So you have somebody who doesn't want to give up that position of power and decides to try to kill the person who's going to come after him. Yeah. But the son of the president elect makes sure that that doesn't happen. That's what it's really like,
Yeah,
which is interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. Yeah, those are definitely those are decisions that are intentional, you know?
Yeah. Choosing friendship, seeing the good in the person and saying I'm gonna have a relationship because I see the good. Like you said, he's done nothing to harm you. This is wrong. And I'm not gonna do it just because you want it done. It's wrong.
Mm.
And in fact, you know, everything in their power to save, make sure that David was preserved.
That was powerful. I had
Friendship.
not thought about it in that context. Um, and I mean, just to think that Jonathan was willing to sacrifice his relationship with his father, the person who, was responsible for bringing him into this world. Of course, God first, but the human that was responsible, and that takes tremendous courage to stand up against your father like that, to say, you're wrong and I'm not going to side with you. I'm not going to be in this with you. It's funny, I've read that story over and over again over the years. I've never really thought of it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Same. I've read it many times and it just hit differently tonight.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
then, like I said, thinking about those sayings of, blood is thicker than water, blood is thicker than mud. And it's like sometimes it's not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sometimes the family we
And it's
choose.
okay. I think it speaks to
Hmm.
character.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Friends are definitely the family we choose.
Hmm.
Hmm. Hmm.
I recall people saying, I can't believe you turned on me. We're family. You're supposed to be on my side. And this is a great example of you don't always have to be.
And choosing to be on the side of right.
Yep,
Sometimes that means you're choosing family, but sometimes it means you're choosing friendship.
yep.
And choosing to do what's, like you said, was a matter of character
Hmm.
and its integrity. And you look at something, you look at Cain and Abel, blood was not thicker than nothing. Then
Hmm.
you even Jacob and Esau, just stealing from each other. And then Absalom and when the brother killed the brother because he raped the sister. I mean, just
Hmm.
sometimes blood is messy, and that's
Hmm.
all it is.
Hmm.
I mean, you read about siblings or cousins molesting, younger women or parents molesting. Sometimes blood doesn't work well.
You
It
know,
it doesn't. I mean, we can't just put that one statement over everything and say blood is thicker than water. Nope,
mhm.
it's not a hard and fast rule. It's
This
just not.
reminds me of a couple that I knew who got divorced, and her family had become really close to her husband, mainly because we used to say he was the goose that laid the golden egg. He had access to, suites for concerts and all types of things. And he would constantly shower them with gifts and perks and, go to the Grammys and I mean, big things. And so he had done some horrible, horrible things to her. And when the divorce was just about final, a few of the family members said, I'm not going to choose sides because I still think that, he's a good person. And she said, I'm going to need you to choose. It has nothing to do with family over friendship. It has to do with right over wrong. You know what he's done. He's not denying it. He gave you proof. We've seen the proof. We know what he's done. So you're telling me that you're not willing to choose sides. She said, I'm going to need you to choose. And it resulted in her cutting off friendship with her family members because she said, I can't have you in my life if because basically they were choosing the wealth and the gifts, over her love and her pain. It diminished, the pain
For
that she,
well-being.
her well-being. Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. So
Mm.
sometimes you just have to do the right thing,
I
Yeah,
Yep,
for sure.
yep.
even if
And
it
it's not
means
about
losing
how
those
smooth
tickets.
talking they are to you.
Yeah, even if it means not
Right.
that game and sitting on the floor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And it really speaks to Jonathan's character. It really did. He was like, I'm not going along with it just because you're my dad, just
Right.
because you're the king.
Right.
Like, I mean, two major reasons that,
Yeah.
you could just go along with it because he's your father and he's the king. And
Right.
he said, I can't, I won't,
Yeah.
I won't do it.
Yeah.
And that's character. And
That
that's,
is
again,
character.
just it's true character and true character of a friend.
Mm.
I always talk about, when you really know your friends, like you really know them. And if somebody, and when they really know you as well, right? So if somebody came to me and said, "Oh, you know what? I saw, Estella and Latrice, they were out there on the pole. They were doing the thing." I'd be like, "No, mm-mm. You didn't see, not my friend. Yeah, I see that look, Estella. No, not even Ramona. No, it's like, nope." That's her alter ego. Even
That's
Ramona's not getting on the pole. So,
funny.
but there are people who would be like, really? Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I'm so surprised to hear that. And my thing is, if I'm truly your friend, I know you. I can say, no, you saw
Mhm.
the wrong person. You saw a look-alike. I don't care what you saw, but I can
Right.
tell you what you didn't see.
Right.
You didn't see my friend Latrice and my friend Estella. No, you didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
It didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
And it didn't happen. Didn't happen. And I've had people try to come to me and say something negative about a friend of mine. I'm like, I'm sorry. You recognize you're talking about a friend of mine. I'm not going, you can't talk to me like that about them. I'm not the one. You cannot. You have an issue with them, you can go talk to them. You can't come to me and get me wrapped. No, no, that's my friend. That's my friend. And no, I won't let you trash them. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. So, anyway, I'm so thankful for both of
And
you
I
being
am
my good friend.
thankful for
Well,
you.
for you.
Yes, very,
Absolutely.
I'm
very
so
grateful.
thankful. You guys have been such a big blessing in my life for so many years and in so many different ways. And, um, you know, we've been there through the hard and, and we'll be there still through the hard, and then we've gotten to rejoice over the good. And
Amen.
your happiness for me when something goes well for me is the same as mine for you. Like you would think I got the whatever that I got it when I know we have our maracas. Yes, we shake our maracas when there's good stuff going on. I've had people say, you act like you're the one who got the new job. I'm like, it may as well have been me because it was my sister.
Mhm.
And I feel the same excitement as if somebody called me and told me I got it. Like it feels the same. And it's true. There's no jealousy. There's no, envy. There's no what about me and when's it gonna be my turn? Mm-mm. Nope. Nope.
That's right.
I am
Amen.
I am doing happy dances when I hear the good news that you all share.
Yeah.
So Anyway, I am thankful for my friends, and I'm glad that this month is about friendship. That makes me happy. So, for those of you watching on Facebook, just know Latrice is going to share with us next week. She's going to be our special guest host, and she's going to share about a friendship story as well from the Bible. So, tune in next week to hear about another wonderful friendship in the Bible, led by our sweet sister Latrice. I know. So anyway, all right. So we'll say farewell, Facebook. Bye, Facebook.